Hey guys, it's Eztheal again, bringing you more Path of Exile content. So last night on the stream, a couple of people were asking me about the passive skill tree, and they wanted me to make a video on that. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do today. Currently, I'm using the passive skill tree that can be found on the website on pathofexile.com. So we're going to talk about a little bit like you know, at the beginning when you first start the game, you're kind of overwhelmed because of this huge skill tree. You don't know where to go, you don't know what's worth what, like you're just completely lost, and it turns off a lot of newer players. So I'm here to help make that a little bit uh, not as bad, I suppose. So we're gonna start off with the witch. Basically, guys, this passive tree consists of these attribute nodes: intelligence, dexterity, and strength. There are small nodes such as these that are like the roadways, and then there's these larger nodes that are considered, I guess, big nodes, big attribute nodes that have plus 30. There's different sort of element nodes such as increased cold damage, increased lightning damage, increased fire damage. There's HP nodes. There's small keystone abilities such as this Celestial Walker that does interesting things, but they're not huge or game breaking. Tend to be a little bit bigger than these small attribute nodes, and we'll just call them small keystone nodes for now. And then we have these really large keystones, which completely change the way your character will play. So, for instance, Resolute Technique, um, basically all your hits, like all your attacks will hit, and but you'll never get critical strikes. So they have their good things and their bad things. We have Blood Magic, which removes all mana, but instead of not having your mana, you'll use your life for skills. Let's see, what else do we have? We'll come over here and we'll see Iron Reflexes, which converts all your evasion rating to armor. So, okay, let's talk about some general, really quick builds. So, if you're interested in Path of Exile, then you don't know what you're doing at the beginning, which is fine, and don't worry. This skill tree really isn't as bad as it looks at the beginning. You get the hang of it. It took me a while before I figured out where I'm supposed to go and what's the best, and stuff like that. But hopefully, after watching this video, you'll have a little bit more of a you'll have a little bit of advantage on newer players. All right, guys. So witch builds are pretty simple. The most cookie cutter build would be a cold crit build, which is a cold damage witch based on critical strike chance. Basically, you would come up here, you would pick up this critical strike nodes, come up here, pick up that, go up here, come this way, pick up all these energy shield nodes. After you pick those up, you would come up here, pick up Doomcast because it has 60% increased critical strike chance for spells. At a certain level, you would pick up Chaos Inoculation. You wouldn't pick it up right away. You would pick it up when you have a decent amount of energy shield on your gear already. So you'd pick up you'd come pick up this, come down here, you'd come pick up some more crit. You would go down here, pick up some more crit, and then come over here and pick up this energy shield. You would also come up here and pick up, this cold damage right here. And 50 points, yeah, 51 points is achievable at about level 45-ish, I would say. So this is a pretty basic build for a cold crit witch, which is probably one of the most powerful builds in the game, early, mid, and late. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the Marauder. So the Marauder tends to be a really tanky character, focused on HP and HP regen, basically. And the most cookie cutter build would be your leap slam or ground slam build. Basically, you would come down here, pick up all these HP nodes, pick up these oh, life regeneration, troll's blood, and go all the way to diamond skin. Diamond skin is probably the first skill you want to get. It gives 15% to all elements resistances. Then you would come up here and pick up Resolute Technique. Resolute Technique is awesome because Marauder tends to like dexterity, so your accuracy is pretty bad. So you would go ahead and pick up Resolute Technique, and then you would come up here and you would pick up these 3 life nodes, and then you would start working your way into the Templar tree. Depending on whether your attacks are going to be elemental damage based, you would pick up these 3 nodes. And if they're not going to be elemental damage based, you're based on physical damage, you would come down here and pick up these 3 nodes instead. You'd pick up these nodes. Um, if if you are going to be elemental damage based, you would not go this route. You would go ahead and pick up Catalyze, and then you would go ahead and pick up these 3 nodes, or these nodes right here. And then you would come up here, and if you're elemental damage based, you would come ahead and pick this one up because it's so easy to get. Let's say you're going elemental damage, so if you're going ground slam, you're probably going to go this build because ground slam has a fire damage component. So you'd go ahead and pick this up, and then you would come, let's see, probably over here, and go this way, pick up this HP. No wait. So after you pick up that HP, you'd want to come down here and come this way, and you'd probably want to go for Golem's Blood down here. Come this way. A lot of people like to pick up Blood Magic. Personally, I don't like picking up Blood Magic because there's support gems in the game that'll let you use Blood Magic on specific like, you know, gems and skills. So that's up to you. You would go ahead and come this way. You'd pick up Unwavering Stance, Berserking. Keep coming this way. Pick up Armor Master because it improves your run speed by a lot. And then you would go ahead and pick up Golem's Blood and its surrounding nodes. And that's pretty much a basic character for a Marauder. This is an elemental damage Marauder, keep that in mind. So the whole point of this build would be to be really tanky and have a lot of life regen, a lot of damage at the same time. Probably one of the strongest builds in game for sure. Level 61, 61 points used, so it would be at about level 55-ish, maybe less. No, it would probably be at around 51, 52 maybe. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do Ranger. Alright, Ranger is really interesting because a lot of people say Ranger just doesn't have the defense nodes necessary, but that's not true at all. So depending on whether you would go, you know, dual wield Ranger or bow Ranger, your, you know, tree would vary a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and make a bow Ranger just because it's easier at the beginning to work with. So you'd go ahead and pick up these nodes, come this way, you'd go ahead and pick up Greater Impact, come down here and pick up Life, come up here and pick up these life nodes. So you're gonna notice in this game that life is a really big thing, and unless you're a build that clearly focuses on Chaos Inoculation, then life is probably something you want to start. How can I say this? Life builds are generally more noob friendly. Chaos Inoculation builds require a little bit more micromanagement and a little bit more knowledge of the game, so you won't get stun locked or frozen in place all the time. So after you pick up these nodes, you would come down here. You'd pick up these nodes, and then you'd come down here, pick up these nodes. From this point, if you want these nodes, you can go ahead and pick them up. I would go ahead and take them. One of the really important things is to come over here and you probably want to pick up Iron Reflexes. If you want to be a pure evasion build, then that's fine. I'll make another video talking about how evasion works and how evasion works against, you know, related to armor. You come up here and pick up celerity. Movement speed is really big. I like to have a lot of movement speed, so this is why I go ahead and pick up celerity. I'd come down here, pick up diamond skin, and then come over here, pick up Golem's Blood. So you'll notice that I like to go into other character areas and pick up like nodes from there. Most people say it's out of the way, but no. Generally, these builds are going to be very, very good for hardcore. Your DPS isn't going to be amazing, but to be honest, your DPS is going to be good enough to handle most of the content, if not all the content. So this is a very general build for a Ranger. There we go. Alright, now let's go ahead and talk about the Duelist. My actual experience with Duelist is very little, or minimum, to be honest. I've seen a lot of dual-handed duelists, and I've seen a lot of uh, two-handed duelists, and I've seen a couple of sword and board duelists. So this is really up in the air. Personally, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a two dual-wielding duelist build. If you would like another type of build, then you're gonna have to go ahead and send me a PM on the forums. Just send the PM to Eztheal and ask for a specific build, and I can go ahead and help you out with the duelist build. So I'm not claiming I actually know these builds. The duelist for sure. The other classes I'm much more familiar with. Duelist is one of those classes I am not familiar with at all. So I just go ahead down here. You would pick up the one-handed bonuses. You would come pick up this life, and then you would come ahead and pick up water dancing. You come down here and pick up Golem's Blood as soon as possible. You come this way, pick up Crystal Diamond Skin, pick up Armor Master, come this way. You pick up Unwavering Stance and pick up Berserking. From there, you would probably, let's see, I would probably go this way. Let's give me a second here. Alright, go ahead and pick up this. It gives you some block chance and it gives you some increased damage. After that, I would probably come this way. Pick up these life nodes. And then come up here. Pick up these life nodes. And then I would work my way. As I kept leveling, I would work my way into the Marauder tree. And eventually come pick up this. Like that. So this build, you can tell, uses a little bit more points than the other builds. I'm sure this build isn't very optimized, but I'm 100% positive that this build is viable. This character you would probably get at around level 58, 59. Alright, so let's talk about a little bit about the Templar. Alright, so Templar is interesting because Templar is a hybrid class. It really depends on whether you want to do focus on elemental damage or focus on physical damage. I'm going to go ahead and do one of the most popular builds, which is a build similar to what Kripparrian was playing, which is a bow lightning arrow build. So you would come up here, you would pick up all this elemental damage. You would probably pick up these area of effect radiuses for your elemental arrow. Come down here, you would pick up this HP. You would pick up these elemental damage nodes. Come up here and pick up this elementist node. Pick up this HP. And you would come down here. Oh wait, no, sorry. My bad. You would come this way. And a lot of people will tell you to not pick up Resolute Technique because of the critical, the chance to get critical strikes and put shock on like your enemies. I'm a big fan of Resolute Technique, but for this build, it's very dependent. Basically, because you want to come up here eventually, you would come up here, you would pick up this HP, come this way, and then pick up static blows, which increases the shock duration on your enemies, and then you would pick up this life right here. Then you would come down here and pick up this HP. So your critical strike chance isn't going to be a lot, I suppose. It'll be probably base and then a little bit depending on your gear. But when you do cause a status element of shock with your lightning arrow, you're going to be just destroying enemies. Another thing is a lot of people will ask me why sometimes I go this way and sometimes I pick up these two. That's because if you have a build coming from here, then it's actually less points to just go this way, pick up these three, and then come this way and then pick up these two, because these really won't help you too much. So this is a very basic lightning arrow bow Templar build. It's really strong late game and mid game. You'll be reaching a lot of HP and you'll be hitting quite a lot of damage. So finally we'll go on to the Shadow. Shadow is probably one of my favorite classes. I like to do a Claw Shadow, so I'm just going to go ahead and show a basic Claw Shadow build. You would come this way, then you would come up here and pick up this. You would pick up this. Keep in mind that you don't have to do these necessarily in the order that I'm saying. I'm basically just running through this real quickly. After you pick up that, you'd come down here and pick up this. Now, Claw Shadows are dependent on getting Blood Pack, because eventually, so you'd be coming this way, and you'd eventually be coming to the Marauder side of the tree. You don't want to pick up Val Pact right away. You probably want to pick it up when you have decent endgame weapons. So you would go ahead and pick up this life, come this way, and pick up this, come this way, pick up this, come this way. See how I came down this way? Then you pick up this health. From here, you would go ahead and pick up Resolute Technique. And then endgame, you would go ahead and pick up Val Pact. From there, you can go ahead and pick up this life. So why Claw Shadows is so amazing is that you have this skill called Whirling Blades, and once you have Whirling Blades, you can basically just whirl blade through an entire mob of enemies, and you'll just instantly leech life all your health back. It's very, very, very hard to kill a Claw Shadow that has Val Pacts once you reach endgame. But keep in mind they are very squishy at the beginning of the game. You know, with very little access to so many health nodes, and it gets a little hard until you get into about the 30s when you start reaching this HP over here. And that's basically it for the passive tree. Just keep in mind, guys, that you see how after a while you can just really quickly decide what builds are good, what builds are not going to be good. I wouldn't worry too much. I know it seems daunting at the beginning, but in all honesty, it takes about a couple of weeks before you actually learn where all the nodes are and the names of all the nodes. Like if someone were to ask me where a node is right now, I would right away know. Unwavering stance, and right down here. See, on stuff like that. Don't be too scared when you see it. Don't be discouraged. There's a lot of help on the forums. There's a lot of help in these videos. So yeah, if you need any help with a specific build, feel free to contact me on the PoE forums or on this YouTube, and I would go ahead and help you. And thanks for watching, guys.